Yeah. So in the previous video, we looked at the first 11 questions of CAT 2021 QA section slot 1. Here we look at the rest of the 11 questions. Again, the idea is to probably attempt these questions in 20 odd minutes and see which questions could have been attempted, which ones may have been left out. Okay. So, okay, geometry. A circle of diameter 8 inches is inscribed in a triangle ABC, where ABC is 90 and BC is 10. The base is given, it's a right angled triangle. We have to find the area of the triangle. Okay. This is the triangle that I have. There is a circle inside this. The radius of the circle is given to be 4. This is B, this is A, this is C. This is C, and BC is given to be 10. Again, we know that as far as the in radius is concerned, area of a triangle is equal to in radius into semi-perimeter. If I take AB as x, I will have AC in terms of x, and from there I can try and solve. So what I'm saying is, area of the triangle is equal to in radius into semi-perimeter. If this length is x, area will be half into x into 10. This will be in radius, which is 4 because the diameter was 8, into semi-perimeter, which is x plus root of x square plus 100 plus 10 upon 2. So I have an equation in x which I can solve to hopefully get the answer. Now, the problem here is the calculation will take a bit of time, which again I want to avoid. So see, because there is no root on the left hand side, ideally this root should give me a value which is not a irrational number, right? So basically this root should come out with an integer hopefully, and therefore this should equate. So just to be sure, I look at a Pythagorean triplet which has a 10 in it, right? Now a triplet with a value of 10 would be, for an even number, if I have to write the triplet, I square the number, that is 100. I divide it by 4, 25. A number less than 25, a number greater than 25, this should be a triplet, right? So I just check for this. If it works out well and good, otherwise I'll come back to the question and solve the equation. That is what I'll do. So for odd numbers, if you're doing it, you just square the number and divide by 2, and then you'll get a decimal. The integers here and there become the triplet. For example, if I'm forming a triplet with 3, 3 square is 9, 9 by 2 is 4.5. So a number less than 4.5 and the integer just greater than 4.5 will be a triplet. For odds, square divided by 2. For evens, square divided by 4. Now, if I take the values 24 and 26, the area will become half into 24 into 10, which would be 120. The semi-perimeter will become 24 plus 26, which is 50 plus 10, 60 by 2, 30. So this will become 4 into semi-perimeter 30, which also comes out to 120. And thankfully, the value has fit the equation, and therefore x becomes 24, and therefore the area of the triangle will be 24 into 10 by 2, which is 120 inches square. Suppose hospital A admitted 21 less COVID infected patients than hospital B, and all eventually recovered. Thank God. The sum of recovery days of patients in hospital A and B were 200 and 152 respectively. If the average recovery days for patient admitted to hospital A was 3 more than the average in hospital B, so A admitted 21 people less, and the recovery days was 3 more. So if the number of patients in A is n, number of patients is n, and the recovery days is suppose D. In B, the number of patients would be n plus 21, and the number of days would be A admitted 21 less, B minus 3. So a number of patients into average number of days would be the total number of recovery days, which is given to be 200 for A, 152 for B. So n into D should be equal to 200. N plus 21 into D should be equal to 152. if I solve, I will get an equation in n and d separately, because if I open this bracket, I'll have a term which will be nd. There'll be a term in terms of n, there'll be a term in terms of d, and then the constant. So I'll get a relationship between n and d from there, right? But I'll just try to factorize these values. So 152 essentially becomes 76, 38, 19, 248, 45. So if I take n to be 19 here, this won't work. I need a 19 clearly. 38 and 200 will be 2s and 5s essentially. So 540. Suppose hospital and return less COVID to patient, hospital B. Some of the patient hospital and with 172 and 3 more. $38, $76. If suppose we take, if n plus 21 becomes 19 into 2, 38 into 2, 76. So if this is 76, 76 will not help my cause. I subtract 21, it should be multiple of 2 or a 5. 38 minus 21 is 7. 4, 4. We take this is 2. This becomes 55 and what 5? 165, not 200. Okay, I try to solve this. So ND plus 21D. I'm pretty sure I got this one wrong. Minus 3N minus 63 is equal to 152. So ND becomes 200 plus 21D minus 3N minus 63 is equal to 152. So this will here become 215. So 21D minus 3N would be equal to 15. And therefore 7D minus N is equal to 5. 7D minus N is equal to 5. Okay. So if N ends in a 0, N into D is also 200 is what something that we know. So if we take this is 40 and 5, 35, negative, negative, negative. I know I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not able to directly figure it out. Yeah. So probably we hold this question for now. 35. 50 and 4. 10 and 20. 8. 16. 42. If we take the 8 out of here, 5, 8, 200 is 2 into 100, 2 into 2 into 5 into 5. So 5 is not working. If we take this as 10, n, 25, 8. The 5s have to be multiplied together. So if I want the difference to be 5, there has to be a 0 here, a 5 here. 10 20. So I'll come back to this. I'm not able to solve it for now, because I'm pretty sure. Anyways, 20 minutes is the time limit. Since it is not striking, I'll come back to it. We'll be able to solve it for sure. Identical chocolate pieces are sold in boxes of two sizes, small and large. The large box is sold for twice the price of the small box. If the selling price per gram of chocolate in the large box is 12% less than in the small box, then the percentage by which the weight of the chocolate in the large box exceeds that in the small box. Okay. So essentially what is happening is we have to find the difference in weight, in the percent of weight. So weight into per gram cost is equal to total cost. This is something that I know, right? The large one sold for twice the price. Suppose I take that the weight in the small box, the price in the small box is 100. The price of per gram of chocolate in the large box will be 88. We have to find the weight. Okay. Suppose I take the weight here to be, say, 88 itself. So the total cost here becomes 8800, which means the price here has to be double, and therefore it will be 17600, which means the weight of the large box has to be 200. The weight of the smaller box is 88, that of the larger box is 200. So there is an increase of 112 on a base of 88. Yeah. So an increase of 112 on a base of 88. 127, 124, sorry. So if I divide by, say, 4, I will get 28 and 11. So 280 into 11. Exceeds. This will be 22.11. So this becomes 14 upon 11. So 1400 upon 11. That's calculation area. $127. So 13 plus 143, because the numerator is 1400. So the answer has to be very close to 130, which is 127 in this case. Again, a question that could have been done. Next says, the question, it looks pretty large. The strength of an indigo solution percent is equal to the amount of indigo in grams per 100 cc of water. 100 cc water, grams strength. Two 800 cc bottles are filled with indigo solutions of strength 33% and 17% respectively. The part of the solution from the first bottle is thrown away and replaced by an equal volume of solution from the second bottle apart. If the strength of the indigo solution in the first bottle is now changed to 21%, then the volume in cc of the solution left in the second bottle is. Okay, so if I alligate, so basically what has happened is, there was in the first bottle, there was some solution which was 33%. To this I added 17% solution, therefore the strength has become 21. So if we alligate, this will come out to a ratio 1:3. That means here the total volume is 800. So if I divide in the ratio 1:3, 200 cc would have been there, in which 600 cc would have been added, right? And therefore, from the 17% solution, 600 cc would have been removed and put into the 33% concentration solution. And therefore, the last line says, the volume in cc of the solution left in the second bottle. Since 600 cc has been removed, 200 cc would have been left. Now, these kind of questions again have been repeated in the exams. Whenever you have a term being expressed as a in terms of the previous two terms, typically what happens is there is a pattern that gets repeated. So I write the values of x0, x1, and x2, so on. So x0 is given to me as 1. Typically at maximum this repeats at about 6 terms. X1 is 2. Xn plus 2. So if I put n as 1, x3 will come out to, I am putting n as 1. 1 plus x2 by x1, which will be nothing but 1 plus 3 upon 1, which is 3. X4 will come out to basically 1 plus the previous term upon the term before that. So 1 plus 3 by 2, which is 2. X5 will come out to 1 plus the previous term upon the term before that. So 1 plus 2 by 3, which is 1. X6 will come out to 1 plus the previous term plus the term before that. So 1 plus 1 upon 2, which is again 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. X7 will come out to 1 plus the previous term upon that, the term before that, therefore 2. And the moment I have 1, 2, this pattern will repeat. 1 plus 2, 3 upon 1, 1 plus 3, 4 upon 2, 1 plus 2, 3 upon 3, 1 plus 1 upon 2, 1 plus 1 upon 1. Okay. So basically, the series repeats after every 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, again 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, and so on. When I look at X 2021, what will happen is 0, 1. Okay, this should have been 2 here. I did not find X2. Very nice. Oh, my bad. So this is where problems start to happen. X2 should have, when you put n as 0, that is where I should have started from. This would be 1 plus 2 plus 1. So this will be 3. X3 will come out to 2. X4 will come out to 1. And then the pattern will repeat. Yeah. This is what will happen. So 0 to 4 will be 1, 2, 3 to 1. Add 5 to all of them because the pattern is repeating after 5. Therefore, X5 to X9 will be the same. And this pattern will keep on repeating. So what I'm saying is, if I keep adding 5 to this, the terms that I will get are X 20, 15 will be the same as this. X 20, 16 will be the same as this. 17 will be here, 18. X 20, 19 will be the same as X4. And therefore, X 20, 20 will be the same as X 2015, and therefore X 2021 will be the same as 2016, which will be the same as X1. Hence, the answer will be option 1, which is 2. I calculated the right value. I just wrote these terms wrong, and therefore not too much time wasted. But again, please avoid such type of errors because that is what really sets you off from pace. Next says AVM can complete a work alone in 15, 12, and 20 days respectively. Vinu works every day. Anu works only on alternate days starting on the first day, while Manu works on alternate days starting on the second day. Okay. So day 1 basically, day 1, Vinu and Anu will work. Day 2, Vinu and Manu will work, and then this pattern will repeat for day 3 and day 4. Now, since their number of days for each of them is given as 15, 12, and 20, I take the work to be of 60 units, and therefore their efficiencies, that is, efficiency of Anu will come out to 4 units per day, efficiency of Vinu will come out to 60 by 12, 5 units per day. That of Manu will come out to 60 by 20, which is 3 units per day. And therefore, on day 1, the amount of work done is V plus A, which is 9 units. Day 2, V plus M, which is 8 units. So in 2 days, 17 units will get done. This process will repeat 3 times. So basically, I'm looking for a multiple of 7 that is just less than 60, which happens to be 51 multiplied by 3. So I multiply this by 3. So in 6 days, 17 3s are 51 units of work gets done. On the 7th day, Vinu and Anu will come. They do 9 units of day, 9 units of work. 51 has been done. So on 7 days, 51 plus 9, that is 60 units of work would have been completed. And therefore, the answer becomes option 2, which is 7. Again, time and work. Straightforward question. Surely would have done questions like this before as well. 62 then says, suppose the length of each side of a regular hexagon ABCDF is 2. Again, in the same paper, the second time we're looking at a hexagon. If T is the midpoint of CD, length of 18 centimeters is a regular hexagon. Assume that this is regular. Side is 2. T is the midpoint of CD. Then the length of AT is okay. T is the midpoint of CD. We know the length of ET. We have to find an angle. All right. Suppose this is the center of the regular hexagon. From symmetry, I can say this angle will be 60, that I am sure. I know the length of DT, which is 1, again for sure. Also, AD will be the longer diagonal, that is nothing but twice the side of the hexagon, because all of these triangles are equilateral triangles. So this will be equal to the side, which is 2, and therefore 4. So what I'm saying is AD is 4, DT is 1, T being the center point of CD. I know that angle D is 60 degree. We have to find AT. Look at triangle ADT, just apply the cos rule. So cos 60 will be equal to DT square plus AD square minus AT square upon 2 into DT into AD. Cos 60 we know is 1 by 2. DT square would be 1, AD square will be 16 minus AT square upon 2 into 1 into 4. So this becomes 2 and 2 cancel. So 4 is equal to 17 minus AT square, which means AT square is equal to 13, or AT is equal to root 13 becomes the answer. Just the application of cos rule, direct question, not too much of an issue. Next, question 63. A basket of 2 apples, 4 oranges, 6 mangoes costs the same as a basket of 1 apple, 4 oranges, 8 mangoes, or a basket of 8 oranges, 7 mangoes. A basket of 8 oranges, 7 mangoes. Okay. Then the number of mangoes in a basket of mangoes that has the same cost as the other baskets is. Okay. So I compare the first and second and the first and third. So suppose the cost price of apple, oranges, and mangoes are A, O, and M respectively for 1. I say 2 apples plus 4 oranges plus 6 mangoes is the same as 1 apple, 4 oranges plus 8 mangoes, which means A is equal to 2M. So the price of an apple is twice that of a mango. Also, 2 apples plus 4 oranges plus 6 mangoes is equal to 8 oranges and 7 mangoes, which means 2 apples is also equal to 4 oranges plus 1 mango. So if I assume that the price of 1 mango is rupee 1, if I take this is 1, this will be 240. So if we give 1 orange, 4 apples, 8 mangoes. Actually, let us compare the second and the third. I think that will be a better idea. If I take it as 1 apple, 4 oranges, and 8 mangoes is the same as 8 oranges, 7 mangoes. So from here I can write apple plus mango is equal to 4 orange. यहाँ जा and therefore, if the price of a mango is 1, that of an apple becomes 2. So an orange becomes 4 by. So let us take this as 3, 6, 9, 2, 2 to 4, 4, 4 and 12. Suppose if I take this as 4, mango, apple becomes rupee 8. And therefore, this 8 plus 4, orange becomes rupees 3. Right? So apple is rupee 8, orange is rupee 3, mango is rupee 4. Therefore, the price of this basket would be 2 into 8 plus 4 into 3 plus 6 into 4. 16 plus 12 plus 24. 36, 46, 52. If I want to have the same price using only mangoes, one mango costs rupee 4. Therefore, the number of mangoes required will be 52 upon 4, which is 30. This is a change that I made. I compared the first and the second and the third to get a idea of the price or ratio of the prices from there would have been calculated. Again, very similar to the beta sita wala question where there were 2 equations, 3 variables, and therefore I had to find out the relationship between the values. 64 then says, Anil invests some money at a fixed rate of interest compounded annually. If the interests accrued during the second and third year are 806 and 866.72, the interest accrued in INR during the fourth year is nearest to. Now, in case of compound interest, because the amount at the end of the year increases by R%. So whatever amount I have at the end of the first year, it will increase by R% at the end of the second year and so on. And for each year, compound interest is R% of the amount at the end of the previous year. So suppose if I start by 1,000 rupees investing 10%, it will become 1,100 in this at the end of the first year. Or in the first year, I got 10% of 1,000. In the second year, I'll get 10% of 1,100. Because the base is increasing by 10%, the compound interest for each year also increases by R%. So what I'm saying is, if the compound interest accrued during the second year is 806 during the second year, not for 2 years, but if the compound interest for the second year is 806.25 and that for the third year is 866.27.72. So I find the increase from here to here and then apply the same increase for the fourth year compound interest. Right? Very distinctly remember. Here I had used the calculator, so I'm doing the same. No point calculating this much. So 866.72 divided by 806.25 comes out to 1.07. So I multiply this further by 866.72 to get the answer as 931.72. This is a question where you might actually use a calculator in the actual exam. Right? Basic compound interest concept question. Yeah, the 64, option A. 65, fx is x square plus 2x minus 15, x plus 1 square minus 14 minus 16 is negative if and only if. So this will be negative if either the numerator is negative, denominator is positive, or vice versa. Since there are options, it makes a lot of sense to take a value and check. Okay, so I look at the options. Here it is x less than 5, x less than minus 5, less than minus 5, between minus 5 and minus 2 and 3. So suppose I take x as 0. Okay, if x is 0, then this becomes minus 15 upon minus 18, which is a positive value. So the value of x cannot be 0, because of which this range is gone, because it includes 0, and this range is also gone. Because it includes 0, 2 and 3 cannot be answers. Then I look at option 1 and 4. 3 to 9 is the same. So I'm left with 1 and 4. In one case, it is between minus 5 and minus 2. In the other case, it is less than minus 5. So let us take x as minus 3. If I put x as minus 3, this becomes x square. 9 minus 6 minus 15, which will be 0. Not 0, sorry, negative 9 plus 21 minus 18. So this becomes minus 3 negative, right? And therefore minus 3 should be a solution, and so 1 becomes the answer. All right. Again, straightforward question because there were options given to me. So best approach is look at the easy value to solve, eliminate options, and you're done with the question. Question 66. We just did this. I think this is a repeated question for some reason. Yeah, this is a repeated question. This should not have happened in the exam. Somehow it is happening here. So I think we're missing one question. I mean, yeah. So just look at the question that was left. I was not able to solve this question. I'm coming back to this. I think if I was attempting, so the point that I want to take away from here is, in this question, when I had written A is equal to N into D is equal to 200 and N plus 21 into D minus 3 is 152, I should ideally have stopped at that point itself. There was no point calculating further because I could not see the numbers. If I have time left, it is always okay to come back. So if I look at the time, mostly we would have been able to run through 10 out of these 11 questions in about 20 minutes. So not a problem there. Which ones should have been attempted for sure? I think 56 may or may not strike because again would be solved for sure, but the solution might take time. So if 10, 24, 26 strikes you, well and good. Otherwise, keep it for the end. So 57 I was not able to solve. 58 I think should have been solved. So basic percentage question. 59th again basic allegation should have been solved. 60 because this kind of a question has been asked in previous CATs where the pattern repeats, should have been solved, but there is a very good chance of you making a mistake here because since the pattern is repeating after 5, the first thing that inherently comes to mind is x 2021 will be equal to x equal to 1, which will not be the case because here we are starting from x naught and not x1. So a basic mistake might happen, so not counting it. 58, 59, 60 I think should have been done, a basic work question. 62 should have been done because again just putting the cost formula. 63 all right, not 64 was a basic CI question, the information. 65 should have been done because you have to put in values. So these could be the 6 questions in the next 11 that you should have attempted, about 6 in the previous video as we talked about. So an attempt of 12 would have probably happened without too much of a fuss. Coming to the question that did not get solved, yeah. Let us try and crack this question. Hospital A admitted 21 less COVID-infected patients in hospital B. Let us put better numbers here. So suppose 21 admitted less patients, and in hospital A was 3 more than the average hospital. Okay. So suppose if I just change the values and I write this as N, the number of days is D plus 3. Here I write N plus 21 and a D. Okay. This product is 200. This product is 152. 152 again is factorized as 76, 38, 19. Clearly, N plus 21 has to be a number greater than 21. So it could be 38. It could be 76. Again, you get a 55. It could be a 152. Some error. So if this is 38, this would be 4, 152, right? Which will give me the value of D here as 7, which does not make sense. If we take this to be 76, this would be 2, which would give me the value of D here as 5. This is 55. Not happening again. Hospital admitted 21 less COVID patients. If we make this a 40 and this a 5, right? So this could become a 61 and a 2. Not well. Not sure why this is happening here. Even if we solve this, we still get a 3 and a 21D. And subtracting, let's try to solve this. We get ND plus 3N is equal to 200. And here we get a ND plus 21D is equal to 152. If we subtract 3N minus 21D comes out to 48, which means N minus 7D comes out to 16. We take this as 8. This would be 25. What happened? Yeah, so this is probably the question that I will or not. It is not happening for me as of now. So again, the questions that should have been attempted here were about 12 odd questions, which would have been a very, very good attempt. As I said, there were questions which keep on repeating. For example, you have questions repeatedly from time and work. Basic algebra function related questions are repeating. There are questions from solutions, mixtures, which keep on repeating. So those should be questions that you should be doing. These questions, even I am not doing, so not helping me either. But yeah, 12 out of 22 would have been a pretty good attempt. A score of 36 marks would have got me a decent percentile in 2021. Right? So that is mostly for this video. In the next video, we'll take up the slot 2 and slot 3 eventually. So also the LRDA sections in the coming videos. So stay tuned for that. Thank you.